I'm standing here next to memorial to Julie Paskall, who was killed some week or so ago. She was 53-year-old mother coming here to pick up her child from hockey game here in the community of Newton. We are here today to talk with Doug Elford from Newton Community Association about overall situation in Newton, about the crime, about the security situation, about all the problems which are happening here. As you can see, this memorial is growing more and more, and here are messages of support to Julie's family, and these are messages from friend. One of them says, rest in peace, Julie, we love you. The other says, Mom, love you, rest in peace, I believe, says Stacy. And this is actually where everything happened. You'll see and hear later from Doug from areas of community where all these problems are happening and what needs to be done to improve situation in Newton as one of our city centers.
Starting at the south end of the Newton Town Centre, the core town centre, and we're going to go for a walk into what we call the Strand of Woods, where a lot of the homeless people live, a lot in the summertime. And just to give you guys an idea of where these people live, we can go through some of the past and show you what their living conditions are like. We may come across some people I don't know, but let's go have a look anyways.
And that's a part of the problem in this community,
yes,
or a big problem.
It's a big problem in this community. They live they live in the trees. And one time I had a bike stolen by right in front of the rec center in the bike rack. And I found a policeman, and he says, well, let's go have a look in the neighborhood. And we toured the hood, and he took me through here because there was a lot of people living in there in the summertime. I don't know about this time of year, but we can always go have a look and see.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
And by the way, when we are talking about this area here in Newton, some people are claiming that here we have histrionics, that people are creating hysteria after the murder of Julie Paskall. Is that really true? Are we really creating hysteria here?
Well, I think that the public is extremely alarmed when we have a murder in the neighborhood, and the police relate it to a previous incident, and then they put out a public warning saying that there's somebody on the loose and be careful. I mean, I don't know how you can say that's creating hysteria when the police are admitting to the fact that there's somebody out there that's very dangerous to the public, and they're warning us not to be very careful. So this is kind of where it all arises from. We have somebody out there that's killed somebody, and he's on the loose, and nobody's going to relax until we catch this guy. See, there's a labyrinth of paths and areas where people live, the homeless live. When they come down to the homeless shelters down that are posted on King George and they can't get in for whatever reason, it's either full, or if they have alcohol in their breath, or they look like they're high, they refuse to get in, and then they have to go live somewhere. So this is the Strand of Forest at the south end of Newton, where they seem to all live. And as you can see, there's paths and there's areas, there's lots of activity in this neighborhood. It parallels the railroad tracks, where there's a path along the tracks, so it's easy to get from one side of Newton to the other without being caught by the police. Easy way to disappear from the police if they're running from the police for one crime or another. This is a good escape route through here.
The question here is how much police presence you see on the street here in this area of community.
Normally, or before the normally there is a presence, but it's not an active interacting presence in the community. You might see the odd police car, but it's usually reactive for one reason or another, reacting to a crime or an incident. Rarely do we see patrols or regular bike patrols, for example, or anything like that. It's usually reactive, and they're dealing with a crime or something, some incident.
today, Mike Smith from the province wrote in his column that the city of Surrey has about 137 police officers per 100,000 of population. Vancouver has 202. What do you think? What city should do? Invest more in cops or talk to other levels of government to help with it?
Well, we would. The public have said we would see more police on the street, and the argument is, do you want to pay more in taxes like all these other municipalities? Because Surrey's always maintained that they got the lowest taxes in the region. But you can argue that my brother, who lost his two high-end mountain bikes over the holidays, is going to now have to pay a $1,000 tax to replace them, and I'm sure he would rather pay the $200 or $300 extra versus what the true cost of the crimes are to him in the neighborhood. So you gotta balance and see. Okay, a tax is a tax, but you know, when is enough, right?
The other question is, we see this area here, which is not kept as it probably should be. Can the city do more about this area here?
Yeah, it's a well-known fact. When I was the president of the local baseball association, we had issues with the getting our parks repaired or things done in this area. It was always a well-known fact that everything was done in South Surrey first. The grass was cut right away. If we have complaints, it's like, oh, Doug, we don't have the resources for you. You guys, you know the routine, right? I mean, for example, we have bathrooms in Unwin Park that are 50 years old, and we can't get the toilets fixed. They've been leaking for a long time, and we keep complaining, and it just gets patched up and never replaced. And it's all about priorities, right? And so this is just a symptom of the problem. They don't just invest enough in this community. The stranded trees over here, as you see, kind of abuts the large senior development here, where the Chelsea Gardens, where we have over 500 seniors that live in the community, and they're telling us that they're actually afraid to walk from their house over to the Safeway over here during the day to get groceries. Now, we have a problem when people are afraid to walk during the day. We know there's problems at night, but what astounded me coming out of this terrible tragedy is people are fearful to walk during the day, and that's just not acceptable in our neighborhood. We're not going to put up with that. This is not right. You can't walk during the day in your own neighborhood without fear of getting robbed or being a victim of crime. And this is what the people are telling us. So it's not less banging the drum. This is what people are saying, and that's not right. And nobody has an answer for us. I said, why? What can you do about this? Because we're not going to accept this anymore. We want to be able to have a livable neighborhood where we can walk around and feel safe. And we want shop owners to be able to come here and open up and not have to worry about high crime rates and high insurance rates. A gentleman approached me the other day. He lives right over here in this complex. He's been robbed so many times. His insurance is $2,500 a year now to get house insurance. And he says, I can't get house insurance anymore. I've been robbed so many times. Right here. And then we built this wonderful social housing center for women at risk. So now we have a whole building of women that are, living by themselves. I mean, it's a great idea and plan, but they're right in the epicenter of it. Because we've got young women, vulnerable, that have to go out and about and do their business. Most of them don't have cars. They walk or take the bus, and then they have to go to the loop. Where is the most notorious epicenter of Newton, as they say, right?
Some 2 years ago, I had a chance to be exactly there across the street in the Newton Seniors Center at one of the 6 town halls. At that time, community said clearly this: our main problems are crime and transportation. Is that situation changed today, or on bad or worse?
Well, it's gone worse. I was at that meeting too, and that's actually where the Newton Community Association arose. I looked around the room with a bunch of other activists, and we talked after. Well, we're all doing different things in our neighborhoods. We had no idea it was. We just assumed our problems were restricted to our own neighborhoods, and no idea that it was other neighborhoods that were affected. And that's why we got together as a committee, and we formed recently. And there seems to be an escalation of fear on the streets and anger. The people that we normally see, the addicts, the people, the regulars that are on the streets, we call them, seem angrier. And people, for whatever reason, sense that. There's an anger on the street. And we're asking people, why? I asked the RCMP, why? What is going on? What is happening out there to raise this anger that we feel, this sense of anger and fear in the street? Because we ask people, do you feel safer? Is there more crime? Well, everybody I talk to has been a victim of crime on multiple occasions. But it's a sense of fear and anger that we can't. It's hard to describe, but it's also hard to explain why it's happening.
On a meeting on Monday night here at the seniors center, you spoke with Chief Fordy, and he said that he's going to look into the possibility to put more force on the ground. But my question is, what in the meantime, while he is looking into the possibility to put more force on the ground, and while Mayor's task force on crimes in Surrey for the task doing, what in the meantime?
We've seen an immediate reaction to the public outroar. We've seen more increased foot patrols, almost overkill to a point, and I'm beginning to wonder if the police are being taxed by the fact that they're going to have to work all this extra overtime, and they're stressed enough as it is. But now we're asking them to increase the presence in the street. They're not doing it from expanded resources. They're doing it with the resources they have. So they're getting tired and probably sick. And that's not good for our community either. We just need more resources, more money, more police. As it said, we have way more crime in Newton and Whalley and other parts of Surrey. So why don't you equate that and give us more police? Here's an example of simple solutions that the city, has been, well, hopefully they're going to pick up on these recommendations. We've been saying for this for a long time. There's a path from the senior center to grocery shopping and Safeway here. A lot of them have mobility issues. So how do you get from there to here on a cart or on a scooter? You can't, because of this, the way it's structured. So they have to go all the way around, putting themselves at risk. You're going to go around there at night? Not likely. Or all the way down the other way to get to where they want to go, or they just don't bother coming. So you're disrupting commerce here too, right? The seniors can't access the mall. Simple solution.
And a lot of them probably live alone, or they don't have anybody else to
correct
walk.
There's nobody. They're not going to do it alone. They're afraid to walk during the day. So this is a simple solution, and from what I understand, the city's going to fix it. But why wasn't it fixed before? That's the thing. Simple solutions.
How recently were these light posts?
They've been here for a long time.
Okay.
There has been people have been noticing that lights are out and in the neighborhood, and there's maintenance issues. But generally, it's not. People say it's not well lit enough around here, and a lot of it has to do with maintenance of some of these buildings as well. And we'll go up and have a look as we go along. I'll show you what I mean.
This street is not well lit. As you see, how many street lights you see on this road here?
Nothing. There's no street lights here, and so this gets very dark at night, and so people are afraid. They want to go from one part of the city south center, the library, for example, the senior center, to the arena. It's a dark stroll at night with a lot of places for predators to hide. It needs to be better lit.
And that actually happened a week or so ago when Julie Paskall was murdered.
That's right. That's right.
So when we see all this area here, we see things down there, and Safeway is here, and mall is there, and all these amenities are here. Is this actually just related to regular maintenance, or we need to invest heavily to get the lights here and some let's say better sense of security?
I think it all evolves around the redevelopment of the town center. I don't think the city wants to put a lot of money into this area until we actually start moving ahead with the town center plan, which is a really nice, livable plan where it's pedestrian friendly, where we walk from the north end to the south end, kind of open, like a public market style with tents and awnings and very well lit. And I think it's a matter of, do we want to patch it up now, or do we want to wait till this plan comes into place? And that's what we were saying, because that was passed in 2008, and where is it? Where's the money? Where's the resources? Nothing's happened. Everything's going into Wally. That's the perception. Everything's going into South Surrey. That seems to be the perception of the neighbors here. They're not investing in our neighborhood. So here we are behind the arena, and from what I have been told by the people, the locals, the city has gone around and swept up over 47 of the known regulars, people, the addicts, the homeless that hang around the neighborhood. So it's really clean right now. But this is where one of them lived actually at the back of the arena here. His name was Tom, and I have had many discussions with Tom. He was a bag man with a cart, and he had nowhere to go, and he was an alcoholic, and people would give him money, and the arena people knew him, and he was kind of harmless, and he lived sort of in the back. I haven't seen Tom around for a while, but this is how people treat our neighborhood. It's a dumping ground, right? They just dump. It's convenient.
And it
yeah.
actually says there no dumping.
Yeah. No dumping, and we got dumping, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So as we are approaching this arena, this is probably one of the most popular places here in the Newton.
This is the busiest
area.
epicenter of our neighborhood here. The arena, the rec center. People come here to work out. The hockey during hockey season is very busy. We have tournaments. We have kids coming and going all the time. It's very, very busy. And this is kind of the backside where people have to park. And as you see, it's not very well lit either. Don't see too many lights around here, do you?
I see only one there.
Yeah. And so then again, there's people, the homeless like to live down in here. This is a kind of a nice sheltered area here where they like to, it's warm and it's sheltered. And this is one of their hangabout spots. And you see, it's easy for somebody to hide and pounce on you. During the course of your stroll from the library to the arena, you may want to drop your child off during a practice and go to the library and visit another amenity. Yet, here you go. There's no walking. What female in her right mind is going to walk at night from there to there, the way it's laid here, and with all these different crevices and everything for people to hide?
Yeah. And we have more trees. We have more trees there, which is also a place where they can.
Yeah. And some residents told me that there is a couple of known crack houses in this little block over here as well. I can't quantify that, but that's what they're telling me. I'm sure the RCMP might be able to answer that as well.
Is this the area where she was?
No. Truthfully, they're not really telling us all the facts. I'm just getting bits and pieces. Yeah. But the memorial is in the front, but I don't think that is where it occurred. But I'm not sure, because the RCMP are not really revealing details. I think only certain people know the true details, and that is something that we can only speculate on. All we know is it happened in this parking lot around the front here, where we're heading right now.
When this happened, was this the last job in the glass to make it spill over and start everything, or this is something that's happening over the years and people are saying, okay, we have a problem, we need to fix this?
This has hit the nerve in the community. This is considered sacred ground in Canada. The front doors, the hockey rink parking lot is sacred ground in Canada. You should not have to go and be fearful of dropping your child off, watching a hockey game in a hockey arena at any place in Canada. And like I said, it's really struck a nerve with all Canadians. And that's why the community said enough is enough. We had enough of this. So,
while we are speaking of this, in the community. The bus loop is just next door. How much TransLink is doing when it comes to transportation in the bus loop here in Newton?
Well, they revitalized the loop, but we've been saying for a long time you got to relocate it. That was part of the plan. That was originally what was promised to us, was a relocation of the bus loop. They came in, they put $1.5 million or whatever they put into the loop. They revitalized it, but they didn't really do too much. It's still not really, you can't stand out. It's not really well sheltered. It wasn't really, it was kind of like they just paid a little bit of lip service and gussied it up a bit, but really didn't do a heck of a lot in terms of improvements. Really, not at all. It hasn't really changed the face of it. We want the thing moved. We want it moved to where it's promised to be, which is over on King George Highway on the other side here. This is our notorious strand of trees here that everybody is arguing whether we should cut down or not. This is a very popular spot for people to conglomerate in the summertime, and they just hang out, and they drink, and there's dealing. I've been approached for, you know, if I want to purchase drugs in there, cutting through, and it's kind of like a path through, and there's a huge argument. These are beautiful historic trees. Do we cut these down and make things more visible in the neighborhood, or do we open it up a little bit more? Do we light it? They want lights in here. See, it's even dark during the day in here, right? And you see people conglomerating.
When we are standing here now, I can see a lot of teenagers, lot of cars, lot of families here. Do you think that they're afraid today to come to this area, or they are still coming in the same numbers as before?
They're on edge. I talked to my niece yesterday, and she lives in Cloverdale, and she mentioned that he was here a couple weeks ago with her children for a birthday party in the hall here, and I asked her, well, what do you think? The southern end of the core for all the recreation services is the loop, so we're heading that way right now.
So at the loop today, a lot of people are coming there. I recently traveled on the bus coming from the city hall around 7:30 in the evening. I saw at least 3-4 dozen people standing there waiting on the bus, but it was not lit enough. It was not feeling like extra secure area, and what's actually happening there? A lot of people are complaining about the loop.
Well, the loop is like where a lot of the dealing happens. It's transient. People come, people go, and that's where we're seeing a lot of the bus drivers are telling us that's where the dealers are. They do their dealing with people. It's a quick way to. It's the only way for some of these guys to get to transport themselves around, and then dealing's done, and then they're through. As you can see through the strand of trees here again, there's what people are saying. There's too much egress. So in a sense, there's too many. This is an ideal spot because if you're a policeman and you stumble across something going on or something unsavory here, there's too many places for them to escape. If you look, there's a way out on the other side here. There's a way out through past into the mall. They can run this way. They can run that way. So there's basically 4 points of egress for the five.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there.
So some people have suggested, why don't we shut some of this egress off, and that way it may be a bit of a deterrent in a sense that they won't have their escape routes, and it'd be easier to police and manage.
To close them off.
Yeah, I mean that kind of, it goes against the livability of, and but it might be a solution instead of cutting the trees down, because I hate to see these trees cut down. And really, once you get into the stranded trees, it's not really that. It's not really that bad. It's just dark. It's dark at night. But really, it's pretty open if you think of it, if you look around. But again, there's just too many places for people to escape. And that is something that we should be looking at. Block off certain parts. maybe that corner, and make it so the criminals don't feel safe doing their business in this area.
Maybe put some lighting in.
Yeah, better lighting. Better, like I said, control the egress better, and don't cut. I don't think we should be cutting these trees down.
These are trees
Beautiful.
too beautiful to
Too
be
beautiful.
cut down.
Too beautiful.
So as we are coming to the loop, we know that we have large population of kids in Surrey. Approximation is about 1/3 of overall population is under age of 18, and other approximation is that Surrey this year is gonna pass magic number of 500,000 people. Newton is one of the large city centers, 6 of them. What we can do for youngsters in this area, what kind of message we are sending to them with situations like this?
Well, I know in my old sports organization, baseball, we had you got to make programs accessible. It's very expensive to sign up and join a recreation program or get involved. Everything costs money, and a lot of these families and neighbors don't have money, and so you've got to provide opportunities for these youth to participate in sports where there's not this huge expense. I know that there's tax breaks and all that, but still doesn't work. I know that the Newton Baseball Association, for example, will grant you free registration. We will not turn a child away in that league. And what we found is most of the children that come out of our ball league turn out really well. If they're busy and they're doing something else and they're not on the streets and bored, then they become good citizens. They get involved in organizations that teach them how to be good citizens and learn respect. I think that's something that we should be doing, is opening up these opportunities for these children and providing more opportunities for them to get involved in recreation, for example, or clubs. Steer them in that direction. Get them off the streets.
So, Doug, we are standing at the moment at the Newton bus. This is, we can say, a center of all activities here, but what really represents this place for Newton area?
Well, it is a transportation epicenter of Newton. People need to come here. They have to come here and to get around. I come here myself. I can be here daily. I'm a daily transit rider. I come here in the morning, pitch black, and this is kind of where we all have to be for us to do things. And so here we are on a cold day, and there's people standing around, but they put a lot of money into this, but I don't see much protection here. You see, like, where is this large covering, and where, I guess is it lit? I'm not sure, but as you can see, what has evolved behind us here is what is happening to our community. We have money marts, payday loans, possibly methadone clinics. I'm not sure. This is kind of what our neighborhood has turned into. These are never here before. So these are just services that are provided for people that are in the community and need to